Hey, yo, what's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Ashton Jackson, man. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys schedule release that came out yesterday. Again, we already knew who the Dallas Cowboys were playing. We knew that already by the end of the season. We already knew who we were playing. We knew we were playing the NFC West, AFC South, our division, of course, and then the two outside, division slash conference type players teams we were playing was one was Green Bay and the other one was Baltimore. So I'm gonna break down the schedule, what I like about it, what I don't like about it, and then also don't forget to comment what do you guys think our records want to be, and who are you most excited to play outside of the division? We already know you want to play Philly, New York, Washington. That's cool, but I want to know who do you guys looking forward to play outside of the division. So before I hop into the video, I would appreciate if you guys like the video, subscribe if you're new, comment, and share my video with anyone who you think will enjoy my content. So hopping straight into it, the first thing that I like to look at when breaking down a schedule is when is Dallas Cowboys bye week. And the reason why I like to look for that is because us, the Lions, and whoever participates on Thanksgiving, we're some of the only teams, the 6 teams that played 3 games in 11 days. So for that, with the Dallas Cowboys, I like to see who are a stretch of games leading into that Thanksgiving game and find out where the bye week is. Number one bye week. Number 2, the Thanksgiving stretch, and then number 3, I like to look at the early stretch of games. So the Dallas Cowboys, they don't have a week 14 bye. That's right around December, which is really great for the Dallas Cowboys in my opinion, just because if you come out of that bye week, you look at week 15, you play the Rams. That's going to be a tough game. You play week 16, you play a Sunday night football game, you play the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then the last teams that you play in the season are the first 2 teams that you play in the season, which is the Giants and Washington, and you play them in that order. Giants come to you, and then you go to Washington to end off the season. So those last 4 stretch of games are going to be really tough for the Dallas Cowboys, depending on what the season possibly looks like for those teams that we play, right? The second thing I'm looking at now, the stretch of games leading into the bye week, or not bye week, I'm sorry, but around that Thanksgiving stretch. Week 11, you play the Tennessee Titans. That's going to be Robert Saleh. That's going to be Cam Ward, Jeffrey Simmons. It's going to be those guys. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. And then short week, you play Philadelphia. And then a week from Philadelphia, you play at Seattle, which is, I believe, going to be a primetime game as well. That's going to be a really good game. Going to Seattle late into the season, that's going to be a hell of fun to watch. That's going to be a really good game to watch, and I'm excited for that game as well. But the first 7 games of your NFL season is going to be even tougher, in my opinion, just because of the way in which these games are set up, right? The first 2 games that you play are division games. That's another thing that I look at in terms of record and things of that nature, is that when you're looking at these games, I want, in my mind, if I want to have a home playoff game, I need my team to win at least 4 to 6 division games. If you can win at bare minimum 4 games, so meaning you'll sweep somebody and you'll split 2 other series between somebody, I feel like you can do something like that with the Dallas Cowboys. I felt like we'll split with Philly like we normally do every single year. I believe that we can sweep Washington, and we'll probably split one with the Giants. But if we do any of those things in those order, or we'll sweep the Giants, we'll split with Philly, and we'll split with Washington, still some way in which that you can get at least 4 to 5 sixes. Sixes in a dream world where you sweep everybody in the division, that would be lovely. But realistically, we're going to get anywhere between 4 to 5 wins in the division. Then if you can do that, if you can get at least 4 to 5 wins within your own division, all you have to go do is just win 5. Not saying it's easy, but you have to find a way in which to win 5 to 6 more games outside of your division. If you can find a way to do that, you can comfortably have a home playoff game. In my opinion, that's how I see the game, just from an analytical perspective. But first game, you open up Sunday Night Football, you play against the Giants. Week 2, you go to Washington. Then week 3, you leave the States and you go to Brazil to go play my cousin Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens. That's going to be a hell of a game, and you're going to find out real soon, can the Dallas Cowboys stop the run? Can the Dallas Cowboys play physical football at an off-site location, and you're playing out of the state? I want to know what this team is going to be about. And then after coming off of that 11-hour plus flight going to Brazil, then you got to come back. You got to play the Houston Texans week 4. It's going to be at Houston, so it's not too big of a once they land in Dallas and Houston, it's not even that far. So You're gonna have to play them Texans. They're gonna play damn good, tough defense. Then you have to play them, right? Then after you come off the long flight from Brazil, then you go play Houston. Then on a short week, you have to go play Tampa Bay on Thursday Night Football matchup early in the season. Then you're gonna have a little bit of a stretch where you have that 10 to 11 day rest, where you play the Green Bay Packers on a Sunday Night Football game. That's gonna be really good. That I can't wait for that. That's gonna be really fun. And then on a short week after that Sunday Night Football, you play the Green Bay Packers. Then you go to Week 7, and you have to play the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football. And again, Green Bay is, you have to play them at Green Bay, and then you have to play them at Philly. So you have to be on the road 2 weeks in a row, and then you gotta go play Arizona at Dallas. That's gonna be cool. And then you're gonna have to play the Colts. That's gonna be Josh Downs, Caleb Downs. That's gonna be a really good game. And then Week 10, we play the team that I just can't stand. I can't stand Philly, but being from the Bay, I just can't stand the 49ers, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But can't stand them in Memphis, and we play them Week 10. That's the game that I have circled. Outside of the first 7 games of the season and Thanksgiving, this is a game I have circled. I can't wait for this game, and it's going to be in Dallas. It's going to be where the game should be being played. And this is a game that I believe the first 7 weeks you're going to find out what this team is going to be made of. And something I want to talk about real quick, and shouts to the Skywalker still, because he had a hell of a YouTube video and a hell of an interview with Brian McFadden. Went to Florida State, won 2 Super Bowls. He won with the Pittsburgh Steelers, beat the Seahawks, and beat the Cardinals. He had a very great quote that I believe everyone should take when they're going about life, and it was that his Florida State defensive coordinator has said, you can't live life soft and want to fight hard. So if the Dallas Cowboys want to get back to what we're used to them being, whether it's our parents' generation or great-grandparents' generation, whatever the case might be, those Roger Staubach days, your grandparents, and then now your parents with the Troy Aikman days, if we want to get back to those days, we have to live life hard. So when I'm looking at this schedule, initially it's going to look daunting, but remember, they're basing this schedule, our strength of schedule, off of last year's and what teams did last year. A lot of times we hype up these schedules like, oh, we play these tough stretch of games. Yeah, you're right, but I'm looking at these teams from a roster perspective and not just off of names. Who got better, who got worse. I'm looking at some of these teams. I think some of these teams got worse. I don't think a lot of these teams got better. Like, I feel like Philadelphia didn't get all that great. Same thing with Green Bay. Tampa lost their star wide receiver in Mike Evans. Their franchise GOAT type player, and Mike Evans doesn't really mean too much because he would miss a lot of games to begin with. We play Houston. I have never seen back-to-back years a team of being that great defensively in back-to-back seasons. I haven't seen that since the Legion of Boom. So I don't think Houston is going to be all that daunting defensively. I think they might take a step up offensively, but we'll see. Baltimore, they're heading in with a whole new coaching staff. They had Harbaugh for about 20 years, it felt like, because I remember when I was a kid and Harbaugh was coaching the Ravens. So it's going to, they're going to get acclimated with a new head coach, a new culture. So we're going to see what the Ravens are going to look like by week 3. You know what I mean? Tennessee having new coaches, Seattle having a new OC, them losing some key defensive players. Did the Rams really get all that better? So I'm looking at with these teams, what's going to happen with Devontae Adams? How is he going to be feeling by the time we play them week 15? If the Dallas Cowboys want to get back to being great, they're going to have a tough life. So I love the schedule. I love the way that the schedule is set up. One thing I don't like about the schedule is how late our bye week is into the season. But outside of that, other than that, I can't complain. I already knew who we were playing at the end of the regular season. I already knew who we were playing. I was already prepped. I already knew who we were playing. I know all these coaches. We just have to go out there and execute. I still feel like the Dallas Cowboys can make a move or two to fully solidify this roster, to make us that much more potent when we're playing up against these guys. But I'm very excited for this NFL season. Prayerfully, everybody that we play, whether they're on a schedule or not, are healthy. And I pray that we go out here and we make some noise. I feel like the Dallas Cowboys can go out here with a winning. If the Dallas Cowboys can find a way to win 12 or 13 games, and this team is a top 3, top 2 seed in the NFC, I feel like, and we're healthy, I feel like the Dallas Cowboys can be a really dangerous team. they have to go out there and prove it. And words don't mean nothing if you don't put it to action. So we're gonna see what they're doing. So that's about it for the video. Hope you guys have a nice day. Stay safe, stay blessed. Bye.